Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to share with you my makeup brushes. I'm going to share with you what they are, what I use them for, and why they're in my collection. If you would like to know more about what makeup brushes I use, just keep watching. Hi guys, my name is Ange and welcome to Angela Stewart Beauty, where I share my experiences in all things beauty and lifestyle as I navigate my more mature years. If that sounds like you and you would like to subscribe to my channel, please click on the subscribe button down below and don't forget to click on the notification bell so that YouTube lets you know when I upload any new videos. Now recently I was asked by a subscriber if I could share my favourite makeup brushes. Now I only have brushes that I really like. Any brushes that don't work out for me I've passed on. My daughter has them because she's just starting out with makeup. I've just been giving her makeup brushes that haven't worked out for me and moved them on. I probably have a lot more brushes than your average person, but I definitely don't have the oodles of different brushes that a lot of beauty YouTubers have. So rather than just pick out a few and share them with you, I thought I'd go through all of my brushes, let you know what they are and what purpose I use them for. I'm going to start with my face brushes, and the first brushes I have are foundation brushes. Now I prefer to use a damp beauty sponge to apply my foundation. It's just, for me, quick, easy, I get a good coverage, no streaking, and it's just easy for me. But I do have some foundation brushes, and from time to time I do reach for them, but then I find I don't reach for them a second time. So occasionally I'll use these, but they're not my favoured way of applying foundation. The foundation brushes that I have are the Tarte sort of buffing foundation brush. I've got this in a limited edition, a gold packaging, but it also comes in the wooden bamboo handle, and I gave my bamboo handled one to my daughter because I didn't need to. But this is actually a really nice foundation brush for applying foundation. I actually prefer something this size because it's quick, it's easy, and it's fast. I think that's probably what I like most. The next foundation brush that I have that I use occasionally is the Cover FX liquid foundation brush. This is a really good little buffing brush, but it's really little and I just find it's too faffy for me because it's quite fine, but it's really good for getting in your little areas around your nose and little crevices like that. So if I was a more patient woman, I probably would use this more. It is a very good little foundation brush, but as I say, little being the operative word. A very popular foundation brush that's been around for a long time, I have the angled version, is the Sigma angled Kabuki flat angled foundation brush. This is really good too. Have to say though, I don't use it very often. Probably one of the reasons that put me off using foundation brushes is having to wash them all the time. With a sponge, I just wash it each time I use it under the tap after I've washed my face in the morning, and I just find foundation brushes are just a little bit more of a hassle to clean. So probably another reason why I don't tend to reach for them as much. I have two powder brushes that I really love, big fluffy powder brushes. Now I got caught up in the hype and purchased the Lamia powder brush. Very expensive, $80. really expensive. And after I do enjoy it, don't get me wrong, I do like it, but after I got it, it was a little bit of buyer's remorse because I've got a Morphe one that I like just as much, which was a fraction of the price. And I love my big fluffy brushes after applying my powder with my velour poof, and then I use a big fluffy brush to brush away the excess. So they are two brushes. There's another brush that I would like to try, and it is the It Cosmetics powder brush, and I would like to try that. And but yes, I love my big fluffy powder brushes. Okay, next on the list are bronzer brushes, and I have 4 different bronzer brushes. I have 2 of this particular one, and it is the Eco Tools Full Powder Brush. Now this is actually a powder brush, but because it has the pointed dome tip, I love it for bronzer because it's more precise. Even though it's a bigger head brush, because of the point to it, it is quite precise where it puts its powder. So I really like that. It's affordable and it is a beautiful, beautiful brush to use. Another affordable bronzer brush that I have is a Morphe brush. This is the R2. It's like a fan sort of shaped brush, but it's narrow. So once again, because it's narrow, very good for getting in the smaller areas of your face. So for an affordable brush for bronzing, I like this one too. Another Tarte brush, and I had forgotten about this, but I've been bringing it out lately, and this is great for actually contour. And I've got another contour brush that I have to show you too. But for contour, I really like this brush by Tarte. It's not unlike, it's probably a little bit thicker and fatter than the one NARS brought out. I think they called it the Eater brush, but I love it for its shape, and it's great for contour as well, and I use it for just popping down the sides of my nose. It's a great little brush. And probably my favorite bronzer brush, a lot more expensive than those affordable options, is the Sonya G Sculpt 2. Now you can use this brush for a lot of different things, but this is brilliant for bronzing, going in the side, brushing it upwards. It's great for getting around the hairline, and I mean, if I could, I would love to have a much larger collection of Sonya G brushes. Absolutely love them. I think they're amazing, amazing quality. They're very expensive, and then I have to also be mindful that when I'm buying them here in New Zealand, they are double the US price. So I can't justify spending around $100 for a makeup brush. And I have the odd Sonya G brush, and would love to have more, but it's not a reality that I will ever have a full collection of them. A little brush that I love for contour is an affordable brush, and this is, I've used it that much, it's nearly out. It is an R13 by Morphe, and it's a little pointed dome brush, so it looks like a very large sort of fluffy eye brush. Now I love this for being very precise with my contour. Love it, love it, love it. It is the contour brush that I reach for 95% of the time. If I'm wanting to contour down my nose and I don't want to dirty too many brushes, I will just fan out the brush and use it down the sides of my nose as well. I'm very mindful that, you know, if I'm using lots of brushes every day, it means that I have a lot of brushes to wash at the end of the week. So if I can use it in different ways and utilize it, so that is what I do, is I pinch the bristles so that I can get down the sides of my nose. But that is my favorite contour brush. Another one that I use at a pinch, if that one is in the wash and is drying, is a Morphe G2. I don't think you can get this anymore. Very similar in shape. It's just a little bit bigger, but it still has that dome point there that makes it ideal for contour. My blush brushes, as I said, I really like Eco Tools. They are very affordable. This is the Sheer Blush Brush. I like this because it's a duo fibre. I have 2 of them. They were affordable to purchase and I do enjoy them, and I really like this for using with pigmented blushes. As it's duo fibre and it's quite fine in the tip of the hair, I find it really, if I've got a super pigmented blush, this just applies a wash of the colour rather than it being like boom, a shade. It blends it out beautifully and I really enjoy this for blush. I have got a brush that you probably will never be able to get. I bought this when I was a teenager. That is how old this blush brush is. We can no longer get number 7, it's Boots, number 7 products here in New Zealand. I bought this when I was under 20 and I am 54 in 2 weeks time. So I think for how affordable this brush was, it was under 10 New Zealand dollars, it has held up blimmin' well. And it is perfect for precise placement of blush. Now I find it really interesting that my favourite blush brush is a Sonya G brush. I would love to have several of these, and it is the Sonya G Cheek Pro brush, and this is so soft and is once again brilliant for precise placement. But look how similar they are. This is a little bit bigger, and as I said, I've had this for 30 odd years and I paid such a small amount of money for it. I just think it's so great. But that is my Sonya G Cheek Pro brush. Love it, and is my favourite blush brush. And I do have a Zoeva 128 cream cheek brush. I have probably used this more for cream bronzer rather than a cream blush. When it comes to cream blush, and I've only got one, I like to use my fingers for that rather than a brush. But for cream bronzer, this is a neat little brush to use. Now I have a little random brush, and this is a Morphe E8 brush. Quite a random little brush, but I love this for blending anything when I have used too much product. And probably the most common place that I use it is if I find I've put too many, too harsh a stripe down the sides of my nose. This is perfect for buffing it out and just blending it and softening that line that I may have overdrawn on my nose. When it comes to highlighter, there is only one brush here that I probably grab for the majority of the time, but I do have some other brushes here that I can use for highlighter. I'll start off with a birthday freebie that I got from Mecca Cosmetica here in New Zealand, and I actually really like this. I think I could use it for a blush brush as well, but as it's so dense, it's really nice for highlighter. If I want something very subtle and just soft on my cheeks, I like this little fan brush, and it's just an e.l.f. fan brush. So it was super affordable, but it's perfect for just doing the lightest touch of a probably intense highlighter on my cheeks. And it's actually really good for popping down the nose as well. Another highlighting brush that I've got, and this was a Jaclyn Hill recommended one quite a while ago, is the Morphe R31. So it's like a very large version of a eyeshadow brush, and once again great for highlighter. and it is super similar to my overused and favourite highlighting brush, which is the Anastasia A23 brush. 95% of the time this is the brush I will reach for my highlighter. I like it. It does the cheeks, it does the cupid's bow, the tip of the nose, but if you're wanting something more affordable, the Morphe R31 is a great option. Funnily enough, my favourite brush and the only brush that I use for applying powder under my eyes for setting my concealer is the e.l.f. small tapered blush brush. This cost me $3 New Zealand. Perfect, it's soft, it's wonderful, and just perfect for getting in and setting my under eye with powder. Last brushes in the face brush department, and they are concealer brushes. And I have the Kat Von D number 40 concealer brush. I really do enjoy this for blending in my concealer. It's super good. I usually blend with a brush if I use one, but I still will go in with a damp beauty blender just to soften out the edges. And I also love this one. I have it in the travel size version, and it is the Zoeva 142 concealer buffing brush. This is brilliant for really buffing in that concealer under your eyes. Brilliant, but I just have it in the travel version. The other concealer brush I have is a Sigma Concealer F75. I tend to use this one only for, if very rarely, using it to carve in a bit of concealer in my under eye, or using it for concealer on my eyelid, for using it as an eyeshadow base. They were all my face brushes. Then I have my eyeshadow brushes. Now I'm just going to say my most common eyeshadow brush is a shape that seems to come up a lot in my eyeshadows, and that is a big fluffy blending brush. So I'm going to bring all those out and show you. Now I have 4 of this one, and it is the Morphe R40. This is such a brilliant affordable eyeshadow brush, and I love it because it's brilliant for this area here, doing your transition. It's large enough, soft enough, and it just blends perfectly. Love that. Now, keeping in the same vein of that, I have the Zoeva 228 Lux Crease. Very similar job that does. I have the Morphe M441, which is a more affordable version of the R37. One that I absolutely love, and if I could, like the Sonya G, would love to have multiples of this type of this brand of brush, and it is Wayne Goss. Once again, same as the Sonya G, they're Japanese made, handmade. That's what makes them so expensive. I just love these. Now this is the Wayne Goss number 17 brush. Does the same job as these brushes here, but it's my luxury version. So love my Wayne Goss number 17. I have a random brush that was like $8, and I love this big little brush, and this is for setting my eye after using eye primer or using a bone color all over. I just love it. It's quick and easy and is a fave. Another brush I have multiples of because I really enjoy this. Once again, same thing for blending in that transition shade. This is a bit softer because it's not as densely packed as the R37, so it's a little bit fluffier. And this is the Sephora Pro Crease Brush number 10. And so whenever these are on sale, the Pro Crease or the Pro Sephora brushes, I will buy them because they're still, by the time I double the US money, they can be expensive as well. But whenever New Zealand Sephora have them, which they don't have a big selection, when they go on sale, I buy Sephora brushes or the Sephora Pro collection. I have a few Morphe brushes that are synthetic brushes, and I have the S27. I've got 2 of those and an S12. I love these ones for my cream shadows, and I just find, I don't know what it is, but they're denser and they pack the colour on, so I use these for cream shadows or eyeshadow sticks. They just do blend extremely well. I have several shading brushes. These would be what I use for packing a glitter on, like my cream here. When I'm not trying to cheat and save on brushes, I will use my Anastasia little wee brush that comes in the palettes. I love these. I will use this for glitters and for cutting in the crease here. Once again, the other end of it, great for transition shades. But going along the line of the flat shader brush, of me trying to lay down usually a lighter colour or a shimmer or metallic, I have a really cheap version, but it's just that flat shader. Sigma large shader brush in E60. So these all do the same thing and I love them. I've got a bigger one, once again a Sephora Pro brush. I love this. This packs, it's quick for packing it on, and it is the Pro All Over Shadow Large number 12 brush. I have a Morphe, I can't even tell you, it obviously is from the G range. Another cheap flat shading brush. It's just a cheap and cheerful brand, but I love these for packing everything on the lid. Another Sephora, this is the Pro Shadow Brush number 14. And then a Morphe 167. Now this is like a concealer brush. This is perfect if you were doing a cut crease because of the shape here, and be perfect if I was putting, after concealer, putting on something for a cut crease and packing that shade on. So that is the Morphe M167. And I've got another number 7 brush. So this is going to be a 30-year-old brush as well, and it doesn't have a number on it, but that's a flat shader brush too. Going into bigger blending brushes, I have got 2 that are very similar here. Now I would use these to really blow out a transition area, probably not in the crease but up higher closer to the brow bone. And I have a Sigma tapered blending E40, so a great transition higher up near the brow, just buffing and blending and blowing out. And then a very similar brush is a Morphe brush, and this is an MB23. But out of those 2, I like the Sigma E40 better. My favourite brush for cutting into a crease is a Sonya G brush, and this is the Worker one. Now this looks like a flat shader brush, but it's a little bit more fatter, but I find the shape of it really is great for getting around that eyeball and actually getting in there and laying down colour in the socket line. So absolutely love this. Love Sonya G brushes. Another shape of brush that I really like, it is shaped like that, but it is sort of thinner than one that spreads out like that. Okay, now this is great also for the outer V, getting in the outer V and socket line as well, because it fits perfectly in that socket line, but it also gives you the petal side of it to pack colour in that outer V and then blend it into the socket line. Right, in this shade I have my most coveted Wayne Goss number 18. I have the affordable Morphe M433, the Morphe M456. Now this is a little one, and so this is going to really concentrate on an area on the outer V and be more precise with a socket line. If I was to ever use something like this, then I would go back in with more of a fluffy brush to blend out that line so it wasn't so harsh. And another one is the Sigma E25. Now this was ever my first brush like this that I used, was the Sigma E25. And then last but not least in that shape is the Zoeva Lux Soft Definer Brush in 227. So does the same sort of thing, but it's a lot more affordable than the Wayne Goss. It's more affordable again than the Sigma E25. So the Zoeva 227 is a good affordable option. Three brushes that I have here that I love in my more expensive vein is the Sonya G Crease Pro. Now this is, I'm really upset I cannot get the staining out of this. I used the Huda Beauty Mauve's Obsession palette, and I have washed this several times since and I cannot get that staining out. I'm going to try the Cinema Secrets to see if that will help. But the Crease Pro, exactly as what it is perfect for the crease area of your eyeshadow. I love this Sonya G brush, which is the Pencil Pro. This is great for under the eye, and once again I use it for packing the outer corner of just dabbing it in like I do with my eyeshadows and then blending it in. Perfect brush for that. Wayne Goss number 19 brush. This is perfect for blowing out your underline, under lash area with eyeshadow. A beautiful brush. I have a Sigma E36 brush. This is very precise if you were really wanting to get a very concentrated crease line in here of a color for whatever reason. If you're wanting to make sure that you have a very defined crease line. If you have small eyes, this is the perfect brush for that sort of work, and it is the Sigma Blending E36. Another beautiful Wayne Goss brush is the Wayne Goss E20, and once again I like using this just for softening in the crease in the outer, and is great for under the eye as well. Just a couple of blending brushes that I missed earlier. The Wayne Goss number 04 brush. This is a brilliant and so silky soft, just beautiful for blending out and just blowing out. And I'm probably getting rid of all my eyeshadow because I'm doing all of this. This is beautiful for just blowing out and softening and diffusing your shadow in the crease come transition area. So that is a Wayne Goss 04. Then last but not least, when it comes to my eyeshadow brushes, I love these little dome shaped brushes for, in particular, packing that outer V line there before I go in and blending it inwards. So we have a Morphe B37 brush. We have a very affordable e.l.f. blending eye brush. We have a Sigma small tapered blending brush E45. Probably my favourite, because I love how dense this is the Makeup Geek Outer V brush, and I would reach for this the most for doing that packing on in the outer V. And then an affordable Morphe M441. So they are all my brushes. I have some random, just little cheap ones. I love my Anastasia brushes out of the palettes. I really like the Dose of Colours one as well. And I just find they're great for being no-brainer, just grab in a hurry type of brushes. One more there that I have, and it's one I bought not long ago, is a Sigma Flat Definer E15. This is perfect for doing liner under your eye and really having it sharp and not blowing it out, but just having a sharp underline of your eyeshadow, and is an alternative to the blown out under eye. Okay, that took longer than I thought, but rather than just pick out one or two that I would say my favourites, these are all brushes I do reach for all the time. I'm forever doing a massive makeup brush cleaning session every 1 to 2 weeks, and I do use my brushes regularly. And I would love to have, you know, I'd love to try BK brushes, but I haven't. But my favourite brushes at the moment would be Sonya G and Wayne Goss, but they are not something that I can justifiably buy a lot of. Same as Refa. I would love to try Refa brushes, but I think by the time I pay for them in New Zealand dollars, it makes them cost prohibitive as well. So for me, Morphe are a really good alternative for affordable brushes. They are really quite affordable and now are available through Mecca Cosmetica or Mecca Beauty in New Zealand, so they're really easy to get. And then my next affordable brushes that I absolutely love are the Sephora Pro Brushes. I would highly recommend those. They really stand up really, really well. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Please let me know down below what your favourite brushes are. Love to hear from you. Have you tried brushes that I haven't, like Refa, BK Beauty, Smith Cosmetics? I wouldn't mind trying some of their brushes out as well. But it's just, you know, one of those things. There's usually something else on my shopping list, and I don't have an endless supply of cash to buy everything I wish to have. Please, if you enjoyed that, give the video a thumbs up. That would be fantastic. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you back. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that YouTube lets you know every time I upload a video. I hope you've all had a beautiful and a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you next time. See you later guys. Bye.